after going to hospital that day, they told me you're HIV positive, you'll have to live like that for the rest of your life, maintain your nutrition and such stuff. I didn't see it as something hard. It was like the easiest thing any doctor can tell you. But then they did not tell me the psychological part of it. That is part, most doctors, they never exposed you to that. They did not expose you to disclosure. They did not expose you to how to handle stigma. They just exposed you to, you have to take your drugs, you have to exercise, you have to live healthy, all that. So when I went to high school, the first 2 forms, my mom refused to let me go to boarding school. She refused totally. She had an idea that if I went to boarding school, I'd die. So she refused to let me go. So after she refused, I went to day school. Then the post-election came along and we had to move from Kisii. We went to Ukambani. So in Ukambani, I had to go to boarding school because there were a few day schools. Actually, there was one day school that wasn't really well off. So my mom said, if you're going to boarding school, then it has to be a school nearby where she can pop in anytime to confirm I'm okay. So I went to a nearby boarding school. But then, you know, at home and at school, there are 2 different places. School, you are there to learn. And even the food is bad. So here I am, I'm supposed to maintain a healthy diet, and then the diet is bad. And I remember home, I want to go back home. But then I managed to adapt, and then except for my peers, because my classmates and even dorm mates, they used to see me take drugs and ask, what are those drugs for? And even sometimes my mom used to sneak in food for me because food was from outside, was not allowed into the school. So she used, when we were going to church, she would sneak food for me, then I'd go and eat it during as in when I go back to school. But then these other kids were like, wewe unapendwa sana kwenu. But they really didn't know that it is not the kupendwa sana part. It is my mom trying to make sure that I'm okay. So they would ask, hizi madawa unakunywa ni za nini? And I'd tell them, ni za heart problem niko nayo. So when I got out of high school, and you know, in high school you can put people aside, push them away, and you don't have to give them answers. But in reality now, you've finished school and you have to meet people. You have to expose yourself to the world, and your being positive makes you a big part of the picture, because now you're forced to put your status, and people won't see you. If those people you tell about your status, they don't see you as anything less, but they always judge you according to your status. When I came out, I had 2 dream careers. I wanted to become an air hostess or a radio presenter. So the first step of being an air hostess, I went to aviation school. I had all the requirements they needed, so I knew this one I've nailed it. But then reaching there, they told me before they accept me into the school, I first have to do an interview. And that interview, that lady was convinced I was not going to pass it because apparently I have a scar on my face due to the herpes zoster, so I cannot make it. She told me, your skin has to be flawless, especially your face, so you can't. So I told her, okay, fine. She told me, maybe let me choose for you another career, a ground one, where you don't need to be flawless or anything. But I told her, no, my dream was to be an air hostess. If that can't work, then it is okay. So I went to an uncle of mine, he is in the media industry. I told him, now I want to do journalism. He was like, you can't. So I asked him, why can't I become a journalist? He told me, first of all, HIV positive. So I asked him, how does my status prevent me from achieving what I want to be? And then he told me, because if you're in the media, a lot of people know you, and a lot of people will want to know a lot about you more than you. So you need to be out of the limelight, because that is bad publicity. So I told him, if that is it, then I have lost my 2 careers. So I go back home, and now I'm like, I don't know what I really want to do. So at home, I realized that people will never accept you as you are. Because even sometimes, you know, I used to go for drugs in Kericho, and a friend would ask me, where do you always, I will tell them, I'm sick, so I came to hospital in Kericho, and they tell me, Why all the way to Kericho? Because there are hospitals from all the way where you are, Nairobi, that time staying in Ukambani. So why come all the way to Kericho? And I'll tell them that is the place where I'm comfortable at. But they didn't know exactly what was wrong with me. So I was actually very afraid of telling people my status, because I used to find it very queer. People will, any person you meet, you try and bring up the positive, HIV positive conversation, they were like, no. Personally, I cannot deal with somebody who is HIV positive. So I actually remember a certain guy telling me, I cannot even go to a burial of somebody who I know died positively. So I asked him why. He told me because those are people who are living like dogs.